Yes, folks, it's Thursday. It's 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm Fred McMurray, which means this must be...
Pillars of franchising. Pillars of franchising.
Well, there we go. I'm Fred McMurray. As I said, you can see behind me the beautiful Shell Beach background. That's the sun blotting out the sky. And now let's bring in our co-host on this.
You gotta clap it out.
No, I'm just saying our co-host on this Christmas Eve day, my friend, my co-host, one of our $1 million plus franchisee mentors, Kristin Selmeczy.
Very close.
Yeah,
very close. I'll give you a pass on that. So today, here in Chicago, as we get the weather section going, it is miserable. We went from 57 yesterday to 18 degrees today. Freezing cold. Not good snow, but some snow. So how about you, Fred? I mean, we can kind of see.
So for me, it's actually sunny. It's been starting out the mornings as low as 32, 34, Ooh. Low 30s. And with the blood thinners, it makes me wear a double hoodie.
You need me to send you some snow pants?
No. I'm always in blue jeans and a single or double hoodie unless it gets warm.
And a mask.
Yes.
See, what I find is the fact that it actually keeps my neck warmer and therefore me warmer because of the blood thinners. And the fact that it does this way defeat facial recognition, and add in the fact that I can be sticking my tongue out at somebody. In other words, giving them the tongue equivalent of the middle finger, and no one can tell.
The issue I have is neither can my phone. And so my phone doesn't recognize me. So anyways, let's get on with the show. So today we have a very special guest. His name is Vito Mazza. Did I do that right, Vito?
Perfect.
And just like a server, I caught you while you were drinking. And Vito is with Kinum Company, right? And he is
Correct.
a cash flow specialist. And tell us about the weather there in Jersey.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. It's my honor to be with you and Fred tonight. I am going to say that nobody in New Jersey says Jersey. Only people from California and Illinois. Yes. That's how my uncles used to say it. Hey, you from Illinois? Yeah.
Right.
The weather here today was really sort of interesting. There was a lot of snow on the ground last night when we went to bed. We had 10 inches earlier in the week. And then it rained and got a little warmer, so most of the snow is gone, and it's just been a sort of an overcast day. But it is Christmas Eve, so the weather doesn't really matter.
Awesome. Well, let's get right down to it. So I was looking at your information today, and Fred, first of all, let me just say to the audience that I'm flying solo with Fred on the wing today because my partner in crime, Ray, went out and got married last weekend. Woo-hoo. Yep. So he's somewhere, hopefully fabulous, on his honeymoon. And so Vito and I are hanging out on this Christmas Eve. And we're going to talk a little bit about cash flow, which whether you own a business.
Time out. With respect to Ray's nuptials, because there were people that weren't able to see it beforehand, we've actually posted his entire video without any edits by me.
That's good.
We'll get my version done. But on the Pillars of Franchising YouTube channel. So if you want to watch some nuptials, you should. And if you, as somebody who's gone through what he's gone through, it did touch my heart and made me a bit misty-eyed. So
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It was a
It
very
was
sweet
beautiful.
ceremony. Yeah, it really was.
So now,
Okay,
now we can go from pillars of pillar. Go for it.
Okay, now we're gonna get going. So, Vito is the cash flow king, we're gonna call you today. And so whether you own a business, right? You're thinking about owning a business, or really, I mean, it's kind of a fundamental of life to want to maximize cash flows, right? Would you say?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
so I see that you're a speaker, a reader, a trainer, an MC, a host, a voiceover person, and the best is that people always are watching to see if you're going to break out in song.
Yeah.
That was in one of your reviews.
Well, that's very kind. And I've actually been singing on a few Zoom networking meetings this week and last. So maybe later. Let's
Okay,
see how
good.
the beginning goes.
You can take us out with a Christmas song. How's that?
Okay. Very good.
Great. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your business and the type of services that you offer to small businesses, franchises?
Yes, I can do that, and I appreciate this opportunity very much. I want to start with how I got involved in this business, Kristin, because I think it's important for people to understand each other's stories, you know?
Yes.
And so I'm a high school English teacher by vocation, and graduated from college and got married in the same month, which proved I didn't learn very much in college. But I am still married all these years later. And my wife was from Illinois, as a matter of fact, down near Carbondale in Christopher, Illinois. Right
Okay.
on 57 down there near Benton, Illinois. And so we got married out there, came back to New Jersey, and my wife is a special ed teacher and I was an English teacher, and she answered an ad for summer work. So I walked her to the office for this interview, and it was her and 3 other teachers, and the gentleman was talking about selling the World Book Encyclopedia for the summer. Now, I'm the oldest of 4 kids. Whenever there was a question, my father would say, Vito, go get the books. Go get the books, you know. We didn't have a nice like World Book. We had a junky set of books. But I was in that habit, so I fell in love with the World Book. At the end of the interview, he said, this is our last opportunity for training this summer. If you want to be trained and work with us, you need to, you know, take the training class at 10 o'clock today. It was about 9:40 at this time. And I said, can I try this? Hello, can I try this? He said, sure. Are you a teacher? I said, yes, I am. He said, good, you can try it. And I stayed for over 28 years.
Wow.
I fell in love with that product and the early childhood, the childcraft, and I just loved those materials, and I loved my life. And then this thing in the sky, you know that thing, that internet thing?
Yes.
That changed my world. So at the end, World Book took 12 of the top managers in the company and offered us distributorships. And I was one of those fortunate ones. And I started my own business called Parental Partners. And I would buy the product from World Book. I would pay you a commission, Kristin. And then I'd pay UPS to ship the products. And then I'd go get scalped by the finance company. Oh, that FICO score is a little low over there. I'll give you 70 cents on the dollar. And then about that time, the deposit check would bounce.
Oh.
So I'm Vito Mazza from Jersey City, New Jersey. Do you understand what that
You
means?
got a guy,
Hey,
right?
forget about it, all right? And so the bounce check would come, and my wife would say, "So, Vito from Jersey City, what are you going to do about this check?"
Yeah.
Guess what I said, Kristin? I said, "Oh, honey, I know these people love their children and they bought World Book educational products. I know they're going to make good on it.
Right.
Because who wouldn't?" Well, a lot of them didn't.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say this happened every time, but it happened enough so that it was a real pain, because what happens. The bank rips that money out of your checking account,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're going to pay somebody a commission or buy a new product, and that cash you were counting on is gone.
Yeah.
So-
It becomes a house of cards, right?
Oh, it's terrible. And that's what people don't get. It has to be a process. We have to have a system for this cash flow thing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I closed that business after a while because, the world just changed so dramatically. And as I was looking to replace the love of my life in business, the World Book opportunity, I tried a few different things, but nothing ever satisfied me. The feeling of contributing to society and being paid what you think you're worth. That's a hell of a combination.
Absolutely.
So I go into a blind interview one afternoon, and the guy says, "Yeah, what we do is we help business owners with slow paying accounts, no paying accounts, bounce checks, and credit card chargebacks. And we do it for about $14 per debtor." I said, "Could you say that again?" "Yeah. Slow pay, no pay, bounce checks. Stop. That's it. You go after bounce checks for $14?
Yeah, I need to write that down because my bank fees are more than that.
Absolutely. So I said, "Are you kidding?" He said, "No, that's what we do." I said, "Where were you when I had my business?" That's what he said. "We've been doing this for 30 years.
Yep.
When did you have your business?" I said, "Oh, 2 years ago." So at any rate, the point was that I thought, oh my goodness, if I had known about this, I would have jumped on it.
Right.
Because I don't know about you, but I believe, Kristin, you didn't go into your business to go after bad debts.
No,
That's the favorite part anybody has in their business. And guess what? Your team, it's their least favorite part too.
Yeah,
Okay?
absolutely. Yeah.
So-
Well, and nobody wants to make that call, right? Nobody wants to make the call to say, "I'm really sorry, but your credit card didn't go through." And then the person who has the bad credit card, the bounce check, they yell at you like you're the moron. And I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, this is not my problem. It's become my problem, but this is clearly your problem. So, yeah. And I think, one of the points that you had made in here, I was reading through your stuff, is that a lot of people, when you open a business, don't think about this. And I didn't either, right out of the gate. Like, if we have uncollectible debt, what are we going to do with it?
Right.
Well, I've been to front doors before, right? I've called them up before. Illinois has a law about theft of services, and my business is a service business. So we've had some success with that. But how many times does a business owner want to go down to the police department and file a complaint about somebody who bounced?
You know what else is about that aspect of doing it that way, Kristin? And again, what we do at Kinum is a lot more than just collections.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to explain it this way. My business at World Book was a relationship business. My business was based on referrals. So I didn't want to be harassing anybody for anything.
Right.
I wanted people to be able to say yes and then say, "Go see my brother, go see my sister, my neighbor, my aunt, whatever." That's your business. That's your model, right? Referrals.
Yes, absolutely.
And so that is something that, you can take advantage of the law in Illinois about theft of service. Is there a cost to do that for you?
No.
Okay.
And
So
again,
now,
though, you don't want to do that first, right? That's not your first choice. That's the end last resort. Well, where a bounce check on top of a bounce check, a fake credit card. I mean, there's like
Well,
crazy.
fake credit cards, that's a little bit different. That's fraud. But a credit card that has insufficient funds or whatever. But the
Right.
point I'm sharing is that when we're thinking about our relationships with our clients, and we are in a referral business, and I believe really every business is a referral business,
Yep.
because it's
Yep,
all about,
anymore, sure.
right? It's all about relationships. So if I have a way that you can reach these people with great diplomacy, and you can do it at a controlled cost of $15 on average, then that's something that you need to consider, at least in your business, because it's all about systems. Now, I'm not a franchisee. I've never been a franchisee, but as a distributor for World Book, I understand that the relationships are important, and I want to build my business as big as I can get it.
Absolutely.
I'm going to do everything I can to help people feel comfortable, pay their bills. The other thing is this: you happen to be in, I think, sort of a competitive business.
Yeah.
Where there are lots of independent people, not so much other, great companies like Molly Maid necessarily, but there's a lot of independent people who do home cleaning and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So your competition is, if you offend somebody, or you send somebody to the state,
Yep.
they're going to be talking more quickly about that
Oh, yeah.
than they are when they say, "Oh my God, that Molly Maid's unbelievable."
Right.
We're going to tell more negative stories than positive stories.
Yep, absolutely.
Here's the premise at Kinum. First of all, the name Kinum is a made-up name. It means kin, family,
Mm-hmm.
numbers. Family before numbers. People before profits. So
That's
we
awesome.
are dealing with the complete customer, not just the one that owes you money and you now are so angry you call us.
Mhm.
I was joking with somebody this morning. I said, "So it's just this one account?" She called me and she said, "I got this guy." And I said, "Just that one?" "Oh," she says, "I have others, but this is the one." So I say, "Can I have his address? I want to send him a thank you card because that got you to call me."
Right, exactly.
But this is a system. It's not a one-off. It's not cheap collections.
Right.
It's a system. And the thing that makes the biggest difference, without any exception, is the age of the debt.
Awesome.
So,
On that note, I want you to pause for a moment because we have to go to a break.
okay.
But when we come back, I want you to finish that thought, and I want you to think about the various perhaps franchisors that you've worked with, if any, because
Yep.
that seems like a great place to go here on Pillars of Franchising. So with
Yep.
that, we're going to take you to a quick break. And Fred, you want to go ahead and cue it up?
You got it, ma'am. So for one of the last couple of, the second to the last show, we want to thank FeedSpot for listing us this year as one of the top 20 franchise podcasts you must follow in 2020. We've had an amazingly wonderful year, even in a pandemic, and because of the aforementioned $1 million plus franchisee mentor program that's already kicked off. 2021 looks to be another fun, profitable, engaging year in franchise live streaming. And now a word from a sponsor.
Hey franchise owners, how's your local marketing? Do you feel like you could use some help keeping up with your social media posts and comments and reviews? Do you wonder if you could be doing more to attract local customers? Are you able to identify new move-ins to your local area? At Westvyne, we help franchisees like you reach more local customers through digital marketing. With daily monitoring, creative content, and ad placement, and customer data intelligence, We'll get your business in front of the people who want your products or services. We also work with franchisors who need an agency to handle the digital marketing for all of their locations. If you're ready to reach more local customers, give us a call at 805-265-5440 or visit us at westvyne.com. That's 805-265-5440 or westvyne.com.
And we're back. One thing I do want to give a shout out to Ron Riley and his sidekick Andrea for their launching show in January. The Best Coast Business Toast, 3:30 p.m. Pacific. Looks like the second and fourth Tuesdays. It was fun interviewing them earlier this week. And that looks to be another fun show, which will get even more fun with graphics and sound. I love this stuff.
You gotta have the hats.
Since
Are you gonna have the hats?
I won't be seen or heard. I'm just producing the show and live streaming it. But it was fun being. I did the intro interview as a community voice chat, and it was real fun. They're gonna look at the good stuff that's happening and trying to lift people up and talk about the stand-up folks in the business community. Try to make things better. So they'll be fun.
We'll have to put that on the calendar.
Yeah. So you had a question back.
Yes. So I'll let you decide where you want to go with this first, Vito, even though I'm the co-host here or the host today. Do you want to start with your success and experience with franchisors, or do we want to start to talk about the whole cash flow process? Because you got a process.
Yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to complete that thought about the secret here. The secret is early, diplomatic, third-party intervention. And let's talk about a couple of things, Kristin, so that we set the stage and then we can go any way you want to go.
Sure.
What is so valuable for us to understand is that if you talk to a business owner and you say, do you ever use any help getting paid?
Mm-hmm.
Now, during the pandemic, I'm proud to say that we are 25% up for the year. And what's interesting about it is that we had a lot of our clients, particularly some of our franchises, the gyms, for example, who said, stop, we're closed, don't contact anybody anyway. Okay. Then we had medical practices, some with several offices, urgent care centers, that kind of thing. And they have small balances, but they need to get paid because their PPE costs were going through the roof. So they said, hey, you got to continue. So we did. And the secret is early diplomatic intervention in a way that is a fixed cost for the owner of the business.
Sure.
So, for example, you would never send that big account you had, Kristin, that we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that you have $1,000 account or a $2,000 account. You're not going to send them to a contingency agency at 60 days or 90 days because you are an optimist. You are a franchise owner. You expect the best of people.
Right.
And so you wait. And when people wait 6 months to a year, the chance of getting paid goes down every day. In fact, the depreciation from day 90 to 180 is a half a point a day on your receivables.
Wow.
So 90 days is a great time. 60 days is better. We have some people in different industries that actually use us at 30 days.
Mhm.
So, it's very flexible and you're in charge. So owners like that.
Well, I think that that's a really good point to bring up. And as we are winding up the year, right? We started talking beforehand. Right now, not all businesses have had a good year, but on the books, you've got some receivables sitting there waiting to come in. And I know I just had that conversation with my girls today. I said, hey, next week you guys come in. We need to start calling on some of these receivables. And nobody wants to do it at this time of the year, right?
Correct.
We all know, but we're a business, right? And so.
And Kristin, you hit on something that's really, really important. And I've discussed this an awful lot through this year. So look, the pandemic has been terrible. There's no question about it, right? And people, maybe you rearranged your sock drawer. Maybe you cleaned out the garage like we did in my house. But the people that owe money, they have been wanting to get their life organized too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when they've been contacted through this year, they have responded because we're treating them even more diplomatically than we normally had in the past.
Sure.
So I wanted to ask you, do you know what your Google 5-star review is for your office, for your company?
My overall Google score right now is 4.8 the last time I checked.
Is that good?
It's very good, I think. Yeah.
That's freaking awesome. And guess what? Ours is 4.8 at Kinum.
Nice.
For a collection agency.
Yeah, and really nobody likes you guys, right?
Exactly, but I do. I like us. And I like you too. But what's fascinating, if you go to the site, Kinum Inc. in Virginia Beach, Virginia, that's our headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
You will see reviews, 5-star reviews from people that were talking about the collectors.
Yes.
Not our flat fee service, but our contingency service.
Uh-huh.
So I should mention this quickly. So we've got 4 pieces to what we do. And this is related to how we work with the franchises. Okay, because some franchises, like step 1, which is not collections, but it's using our automation to reach out up to 5 times to your distracted clients, the ones who just need a reminder.
Right.
And so we have 2 automated calls and 3 letters coming from you at Molly Maid's going to the client, but nobody in your office has to lick an envelope. It's all automated. And on the phone calls, if they press a button, the phone rings in your office. So this is a big deal, okay? And people will say, hey, look, how do you use that? Well, you give them 30 days to pay. At day 35, if they haven't paid, plug into the system, get it started. They'll get a phone call in a few days or the 2 days after you enter. And then we start the process. Now, the second part of our flat fee program is actually collections. And that would be up to 5 written legal demands from a collection agency. Kinum, the collection agency. But here's the difference. If you've ever used a collection agency before, you know that once you turn the account over to them, it's an assignment of debt. You're not supposed to talk to those people anymore about the money. Not true in our step 2. You're in full control. So when the voucher goes out to the client, and if they owe you for a few statements, Kristin, we actually list every statement on our demand letter, our demand.
Right.
And then they know exactly what they owe. And your address with an envelope, you're on the voucher, and you get an envelope that they can put it in there and send you the money.
That's awesome.
So that is a big deal. Or if they say, hey, I don't understand this, let me call.
Right.
And then you can negotiate over the phone. You know, they might say, oh my God, Kristin, we've been clients for a long time. What's this? Oh, you know what? We've got this new system in-house. And
Right.
anybody that goes over whatever number of days, however you pick, they get those demands. But don't worry, I can take care of it immediately.
Right.
Just give me your credit card number and I'll take care of it right now. And
Right.
so it gives you such leverage. That's the power of it's the leverage. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Well-
and then, so now those people, the first ones are distracted. The second group are more disrespectful, right? So they know they owe you the money, but they're not easily budging.
Right.
So, step 3, Kristin, and you may have met some people like this. We call them professional debtors. They didn't
Yeah.
intend to pay from the time they, the first phone call to you. They knew they were going to take advantage.
Oh yeah.
Those people, we have professional collectors. And those are the folks that are getting the 5-star reviews on the Google site. Now,
Awesome.
some people are really, intransigent. And for those people, what the collector will do, if they can't get anywhere, they'll do an asset search online.
Mhm.
And if they have assets, they find assets, they will come to you and say, listen, we found assets in this on this person, and we recommend that you use one of our attorneys or your own attorney, however you want to do it. But we have professional collection attorneys around the country who will, you hit a button on your, by the way, you get this beautiful portal to, fill in the information. So it's a very simple system, but it's complete. It goes from a reminder to attorneys. And people love it. They love the site. They love the results. And they love me. And they
Awesome.
love people like me at the company because we're you would think a guy from Jersey City named Vito would be perfect for this business. That's not it at all.
Well, I don't want to be stereotypical, but I did say, oh, what, he got a guy? Like, I got this guy. His name is Vito.
got a guy.
It's like, I got a guy, right? Everyone in Chicago.
I
has
have Kristin, I have a doctor here in New Jersey that has 5 offices for his urgent care center.
Mhm.
And he said this very often when I've met him at medical conventions, and he's talking to somebody and he says, I love saying this. This is my guy Vito in collection from Jersey.
Everybody wants a guy.
Yeah, but the truth is I'm a coward. I don't do any collecting.
Yeah, well, that's okay. You got the personality of the guy who sells,
Stuff.
out front. You're the good face of the company.
Well, thank you.
So let me ask you, so a lot of people that listen to our show are contemplating, and we've got a couple of people that are in the process with us right now of buying franchises. What would you recommend to somebody starting out a business in terms of just overall cash flow? Do you have 1 or 2 things that you would say these are, mission critical to set up?
I actually have a sheet, and I do a talk on 10 tips to improving cash flow.
Okay.
And I'll have that to Fred so that he could put it in the notes for the. In fact, I think you received that originally, the 10 tips to improving cash flow.
Yep. That's why I always take notes here.
Let's talk about the franchises. Okay, so
Yep.
I do work with a number of Orange Theory fitness franchises. There are a lot of gym franchises across the country. They're not my clients, but other consultants have those clients. Paul Davis, that's a restoration company. So
Right.
what our franchisees like about our system is that it's a system. It's like
Right.
their whole business. Your
Mhm.
whole advantage in a franchise is the system.
Absolutely.
It's not even the service or the product or the industry. It's first, we got a system.
Right.
Now let's share, this wonderful product or this wonderful service. So
So have you had the opportunity, now you talk about having multiple Orange Theories for an example, right?
Yep.
Have you had an opportunity to meet with their franchisor so that you can become part of the platform, the business, the process when somebody buys? Because that to me just would be like a complete shoe-in.
well,
Not
I
so much.
love the way you think, Kristin. As a matter of fact, the first franchisee that I had the pleasure of serving, I said to him, when is your national meeting? Because my goal is to become the national preferred vendor for Orange Theory Fitness.
Right. Yeah.
And, so we're working on that and have been. And I wanted to talk to you about Molly Maid too.
Yeah. Well, we're
But
bigger than that. We got the whole Neighborly brand, right?
I saw that. And
Yeah.
we got to get part. We got to become part of Neighborly. I saw that, and I think it's you know what? I've been in this business 18 years. I never heard of that. site
Wait a
before.
second. Wait a second. Time out here, folks. Go back to answering the bleeping question. Crime and donkey. Remember, other people are watching here. So
Fred
let's.
wants answers.
I want answers. This is
Tell me the
pillars of
question again.
franchising, and
So-
it's
so
hard
are you
without Ray.
working-
So yeah, take.
Well, I
go
think
back.
he was getting there. So
I
are you
get
now
it.
on a preferred provider list or preferred vendor list for Orange Theory?
Well, there's a large group here in the New York metropolitan area, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and I have several of those. So that's
Okay.
regional. That's regional. But our
Right.
goal is to do a national thing. So
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
like for example, in the medical world, I personally work very closely with the National Association of Occupational Health Professionals. We're
Mhm.
a preferred vendor there.
Okay.
We work with Northeast Regional Urgent Care Association. We're a preferred vendor there. So when we're a preferred vendor, what that means, Kristin, is that we offer special pricing. We can get the price down a little bit for the, for the group.
Sure.
And we tailor our approach to that particular franchise. So
I'm sorry, it's Christmas Eve. My dogs bark. I apologize.
Oh, it's okay. Do they know Jingle Bells?
All they know is barking bells. That's all they know.
All
The
right.
alarm bell.
But you asked a question about the franchises. So the 4 steps, franchises are building relationships. They don't want to be harassing people, but they want to protect their team. Your ladies next week, when they come in, are not going to really be, thrilled to death to make those phone calls. However, if you had the system in place and you were able to say, okay, look, these people at 35, 45 days, 60 days, whatever you pick,
Right.
look, we're gonna send them a statement or two. We're gonna try a call or two, and then we're gonna let the professionals handle it. And this is
Yep.
the point you made earlier. I have to go back to this. During COVID, there was a Gallup poll survey in April that said, what are you going to do with the $1,200? 35% of the people said they were going to pay bills. 25% said they were going to save it or invest it. So you remember everybody talking about this new word, liquidity?
Yep.
And what they meant was, what the hell is the government going to give my business? That's my liquidity.
Yeah.
This is the
exactly.
coolest thing I have ever seen.
That you had it right. The liquidity is sitting in their accounts receivables. And
Yep.
they don't have the wherewithal personally. They don't want to do it. They don't want the people to feel like they're not sensitive. And we
Right.
have an answer for that.
Well, and I think that's the one thing I brought up to you because we had a few moments to chat before the show. I wish I had a service like yours set up on day one of my franchise, because exactly to your point, the reason people buy franchises is for the system.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I've not found in all the franchises that we've researched anybody that's a part of it. But that's the livelihood, that's the bloodline for the business owner to keep operating. And so,
Absolutely.
I think everybody kind of knows that at the end of the year, they're going to get a big push of collection calls, right? Because everybody's doing the same thing that I'm doing. And in a year like this, it's very difficult. My question
That
to you,
sensitivity, Kristin, is really the advantage that we have, because we have protocols in place because
Yes.
of our years of experience doing this.
Yep, absolutely. Let's take a quick break, and then I want to come back and talk some more about my question to you is, what kind of business would you not buy based on the amount of collections it takes to keep receivables low? And with that, Fred, take it away.
The Franchise Woman is a bi-monthly digital magazine that empowers women as they navigate the franchising industry by providing relevant news, tools, advice, and inspiration. We are a resource for women who are seeking to own their own businesses, improve their existing businesses, find creative solutions, and take advantage of franchise opportunities. We feature women in the business who best exemplify our ideals and have something to teach our readers. In addition to our exclusive articles relating to the female entrepreneur, we also feature brands that are geared for women. Women have become the fastest growing sector in business ownership and have become a powerful, influenceable force fueling the economy. The Franchise Woman will give you the news that is relevant to you to help you navigate the path of successful franchise ownership. By women, for women, and about women. We are the Franchise Woman. Join us today at www.thefranchisewoman.com.
And as an additional shout out, the Franchise Woman sponsor, it's the Coterie for Women events. And next week they've got one on Wednesday at, I don't know, 3 p.m. Pacific. So that would put it 6 p.m. Eastern. But you can find the info on Facebook and LinkedIn. Should be fun. And we're
Deep
back.
breath. Yay. Okay, so Vito, we left on our commercial break and wanted to come back and talk about which business you would not want to be in based on the amount of collections that you've seen have a negative impact on a particular business, a particular model. So what do you think that would be?
Well, I think, again, that the system focus among franchises makes the franchise, those groups in franchises, they have an advantage. And again, your success rate in a new business is much higher than somebody who's not working in a franchise, right? I mean, I don't know the exact number, but I know in my experience that so many businesses fail in the first year, but franchises do a lot better than the average business. So a franchise would be a good thing. We work on, I mean, we've got Massage Envy. We have Elements.
Who doesn't?
All kinds of franchises.
Oh,
Well,
I'm sorry.
Fred?
But so that's the thing, right? So a lot of our people are thinking, well, I want to get in. The guy that we're dealing with right now, sorry, my dogs are having a hard time here. He's looking to go in maybe a service business. Well, then he's also talking about, well, maybe he could do some fast food, or then maybe, I forget what his third was, Fred, you'll have to remind me. Oh, a fitness center, right? And so if you look at just those three particular platforms, which one is most likely to have a larger amount of outstanding debt? I wouldn't think fast food, right?
Well, my experience, well, but fast food is usually cash. So my experience with the fitness centers, and the model has changed over the years, Kristin. So some of these folks never send a paper bill or anything written. It's all email, it's all cell phone, it's
Right.
all direct debit every month. And they get these things called declines, right? And so if you have a system in place, you don't want your staff, again, I'm really focused on the teams within the franchise or within the companies. I believe that as a leader, because I'm a leader, I'm not a manager, I'm looking to have the best of my teammates brought out by my behavior with them. And so if I know something is ugly for them, I don't want them to have to deal with that,
Right.
any more than they might have. right?
Well, and
So,
I think
uh,
that's I want to interject just for a moment because I think that's a really
sure.
good point. When I look for girls who are going to work in my office and do customer service or sales, right? I choose them based on their skill sets of selling of selling and of their pleasant voice, the way they deal with customers, the way they overcome objections,
Relationship building.
not somebody who deals with conflict necessarily. It's a different skill set, I think, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. We're on the same page. I just don't understand why people expect, look, I go into some businesses and I say, well, what do you do when people owe money? Oh, well, we asked the receptionist to make some phone calls. I said, oh, wait, did you train her? Does anybody know how to make these collection calls here? Well, no, but she's got time. She's
Right,
slow in the
right.
afternoon. Let her make the phone. Man, you're driving people out of your business. They're not going to stay for that. And so what we bring to the table is, not only the diplomacy and that, it's a system. And if
Right.
you understand that the system will make the difference for you, just as it does in the running of a franchise, then I think you'll understand how we can be of service.
Sure,
And,
sure.
some businesses are ugly. Like right now, property managers, oh my God, they're having a really, really tough time because the laws in the states about, paying your rent and you can't evict and you can't do this and you can't do that. They're having a rough time. And
Mhm.
so those kinds of businesses are very difficult. But service businesses where you have a 4.8 Google review, Ms. Kristin, I mean, that is fantastic. And so people want to deal with companies that have good ratings from outsiders. They don't really care what we say about our company.
Right, right.
When they go online and they look at that review and they see that it's somebody in their neighborhood or somebody from the community, not the ownership, right? That is in fact, I shared this with our team at Kinum. I saw like a pie chart, but it was in a graph really, of
Okay.
one of the most effective referrals. And it's the third party testimonial from a non-related person, not a customer,
Yep.
where you say, hey, talk to my customer. They'll tell you how awesome I am.
Right.
No,
In my
somebody-
pre-selected list.
That's right. This person who goes online, and the thing about Google, Kristin, if you can't ask people to do a review and offer them an incentive.
That's right.
If you do and Google finds out, they'll throw your butt off.
Yep.
But you can say to them, hey, I appreciate what you just said. Would you mind going to our site and putting that in writing? I'd love to do it.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So that's, people are looking for that kind of testimonial from unrelated people. Customers okay, but not your sister.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Yeah, I think that's a really great point, and I really would encourage anybody who's looking to do something like this to reach out to you. But we need to kind of know how. Oh, wait, I'm getting the signal. I forgot. Oh, I can't let you go yet, Vito. You have to go
Okay.
down.
One question.
You have to go down the rabbit hole.
Okay.
Have you?
I got
do
my
you know-
carrot.
Yeah, hold on to your seat because there, you just went upside down.
Woohoo! Oh, Fred, you're too much.
He is, isn't he?
He's quite a remarkable guy.
He is.
So much fun. So much fun. So, as we sit ourselves down this rabbit hole, recently in the news, for those of astronomy fans, is that there's been a signal detected that is many, many, many more times powerful than expected, and there's no known Earth traffic on that channel, so it's nowhere tracked nearby. And when they track it back, they actually track it back to, if I remember correctly, one of a planet orbiting one of the stars in Proxima Centauri, or Alpha Centauri, 4.3 light years away. So there could be intelligent life there, or probably is. So my question is let's assume that there's already intelligent life there and beaming out traffic to Earth, which means the long-awaited alien invasion, takeover, whatever, is going to happen.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
how will Kinum market their services to those on the planets orbiting Alpha Centauri?
I would say, hey, baby, we're out of this world. Our results are freaking awesome.
That's probably
Is that
one of
good
the
enough
best
for you?
answers.
I'm okay with it. I'm going to be interested to see how your Alpha Centauri Google reviews.
That will be interesting, Fred. That you're right. I agree.
All right.
One thing about Fred, Kristin,
No,
you can't
no,
argue
no.
with. Go ahead.
I know we have protocol here. We have protocol here.
There's more.
There's more. Kristin, you got the famous last question.
Okay, Vito. So we want people to be able to contact you. We want people to be able to do business with you. So we need to know how to contact you. Give us your 411.
Okie dokie. Well, you can call me at 800-850-5110, or you can go to kinum.com/Vito, VITO -Mazza, or you can go to the plain old Kinum site and look for me or ask for me. And it would be my pleasure. And I appreciate this more than you know. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I hope you're happy with Fred's selection, Kristin.
I'm very happy, and it was time well spent on Christmas Eve. The only thing I could say I think I would change is I would change your number to 800-GET-VITO. Right?
Now that is
If I can do
wise marketing advice. And with
Get
that,
Vito, got Vito.
with that, we wish everybody a season's greetings, Happy
Christmas.
Hanukkah, Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas.
Feliz Navidad, peace and joy and blessings to you
How much
and all
time
your
do we
family.
have, Fred?
It's
Do we have
Time
any
for-
time left?
time for
Franchising.
He runs a tight ship.